I got it.
Already hit.
It already did too. So yeah, we're already live. Sweet. Awesome, 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 awesome.
Awesome.
We are live, and that's good. I haven't got a notification, but we are live. Oh, you
There's
got a
our
notification.
notifications.
Yeah, you get a notification. I don't. Yeah, it is.
We're live. You
Oh,
know what that means.
what's that?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Hello,
Welcome to the
everybody out there.
party, pal.
Yeah, it's Tuesday night, right? Yeah, it's
Last
Tuesday
time I
night.
looked,
It's 9 o'clock. It must be in default.
we have 4
9 o'clock.
people that love us.
It's Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Do you know where your comics are?
The tip jar is open.
Mm. Lovely tip jar. I love a lovely tip jar.
We need to get to the point where we can have super chats.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be nice. Our
That's,
tip jar is just not fair to us.
and the tip jar. Yeah, that's right. We want to drink too. No, not really.
It's not
That
fair to
might
us.
be
It's not
bad.
fair.
Stacy
Ralph
Renso, Morgan Austin. Both say hello off of my Facebook page.
Hello, hello. You know, Randy, to get those chats, you have to make the video public.
Yeah, so we can see them too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know. What do I do over there to make the video public?
Okay, go to the video.
Go to
Yeah.
the video. The thing should be like 3 dots in the upper right hand corner.
Okay, got
Those
it.
dots. Click there. And
Edit post, change date, turn off notifications for this post.
it should be edit,
Post.
edit post.
Edit
No,
post.
Edit privacy.
Well, I don't see edit privacy on there.
It's
Okay,
rolling
I'll
over.
look for it
Hold on.
Event log, stream 0, video resolution, video per frame.
now.
Oh no, she's gonna walk you through it.
No. Okay.
Live. Turn your microphone on. They can't hear you, Lola.
Oh, unmute me.
You good? Oh, I have to unmute you. I'm sorry. Technical difficulties this afternoon, people.
Event log, stream 0. All of a sudden, I'm muted. Are you there?
There we go. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so go to the video.
Yeah,
And then there's 3 little dots up top.
yeah.
It's going to pull up a thing that says turn off notifications, save
Nope.
video.
Nope, I must
Delete.
I must be in a wrong place. Let me run back. Are you still broadcasting? Says leave this page. I'm staying here. Up in the 3 dots in the corner, it says edit post, create poll, or close.
No, you should have more than that.
Well, you might be looking on. You may be looking on the computer too.
I have friends here. I'm going to make it public. Will that help?
That should make it. That should help.
Yeah,
That should probably do it.
hopefully. Yeah. Okay.
We're public. Is that good? We're good.
Yeah, someone has to comment and we'll see if it worked. Because we can't see the old comments.
All right. I will comment.
Yeah, not right there.
Did
Yeah.
Ted Davies just join?
Yeah.
There, I just posted a hello there.
Yep, there you go.
All right. We're good. Oh, what the heck? Are you still there? Can you hear me? Are you there?
Sorry, yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's speculation on the new Batman book. We're gonna get into that, and we're gonna talk about. We're gonna get into some questions, and we're gonna put the open chat line out. I think maybe I'm not sure because people coming in, so we'll see how that works out. Yeah, that Batman book is. There's a lot of speculation over that one. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about also some cool stuff that I got over the weekend. But first, I have to hit our intro. It's that time again. Are you ready?
Never ready. Never ready.
Never ready. Never ready. However, speaking of never being ready, ever ready batteries are available now at the Dollar Tree. Just thought I should put that out there for everybody who uses ever ready batteries. You can get those puppies at your local Dollar Tree store. Hello, everybody out there. My name is Varian Grant, co-owner of Last Call Comics. Been so for the last 7 years, be 8 years next month, and founder of INDIEVOLT Media LLC. Got my start making comics way back in 2008. My first book published was a black and white interior action comedy called Psycho Sirens. I'm a father, a husband, a geek, a creative publisher, a reluctant taxpayer, and artist. Shamefully, not in that order. And you're watching INDIEVOLT Live. Tonight, I'm joined by, as always, Lola and Mr. Randy Zimmerman.
Hey, everybody. I'm Randy Zimmerman, award-winning graphic and commercial artist. I've been in independent comics for a long time. Printed under a lot of different banners, self-published a lot, done just about everything in the direct market that is possible to be done. And got a lot of experience, which we are here tonight to talk about. So,
Yeah.
lots
Ralph
of
says,
experiences. Brian Germain, Ralph Griffith are in the chat.
Ralph says,
Ted Davies is there.
My daughter said hello, enjoy seeing and meeting some of the Vault crew. Yes, we did. We got a chance to hang out with Ralph and his daughter. Very lovely people. And I was really happy to put a face to the name.
It was a good
Ralph.
show. That Great Lakes show was a good show.
Yeah, it was a good show. I enjoyed hanging out and getting some video footage, hanging out with people that I've known, making those bonds with the comic industry that much stronger. Those bonds,
Crazy bonds.
beautiful bonds. Then we also have a what do we have here? Oh, there we go. Okay, we have a.
Hello
Sorry.
out there, everybody in IndieVolt Radio Land.
Sorry,
Thanks
I
for
just
joining us
I
all
clicked on
across the
IndieVolt.
world. What?
I clicked on IndieVolt Radio and Jesus popped up. It was weird. It was the,
Why did your Jesus pop
I
up?
don't know my Jesus icon popped up, but I'm gonna fix that right now. Okay. So yeah, IndieVolt Radio right now joining us. Wow, wait, right off the back for IndieVolt. IndieVolt Radio, 2,311 people listening right now.
Kidding.
IndieVolt Live.
Oh,
So that's
smokes.
cool. 2,311 people listening.
We
right
appreciate
now.
each and every one of you.
Thank you, France. Thank you, Germany. Thank you, Brazil. Thank you, Mexico.
You know what it is. They're stuck inside with only their internets to play with. So
Yeah.
we're glad that you're here.
Yeah.
We take
Apparently-
questions too. We've done a lot of alternative comics experience. If not, then we can get those answers for you. If you have any question about American comics, we are here. Don't be afraid to ask because Varian has a translator, so we can do our best to guess what you're talking about.
We'll be stuck in tomorrow too because tomorrow it's gonna be snow and everybody's apparently canceling school everywhere.
Don't
So,
believe it.
yeah.
Believe it until you see it. It's not starting until tomorrow afternoon. So
Tonight.
Is it tonight now? They
is
didn't
it tonight?
change the-
They don't know what
Yeah,
they're saying.
no.
Spin the wheel. That's
As
what it
always,
was.
Lola's tip jar is open, and
It was,
Randy.
It was 2 to 4, and then 4 to 6, 6 to 8. Now it's 8 to 12. Yeah, can't believe it.
Yeah, you know, I lie about how many inches.
We
we're
shall
gonna
see
get
what
every
we
night.
shall see.
Yeah. You're gonna get 10 inches tonight, baby. No, you're not.
Yep,
I'm not gonna perform. You know,
that's not.
4 out of 10.
Our TV MA DLSV is up there.
It's up there. It's up there. They can't say anything.
Where
They
the
can't
L
stop me.
stands for lousy.
They can't.
No,
They-
not lousy. Lovely.
He said, Earl Morgan said, "What's your book called?"
It's a surprise right now.
It's a surprise right now. She says. Yeah, she says it's a surprise.
Secret.
right now.
It's a secret project.
Secret project. Yeah. But she does have a book coming out. As a matter of fact, she showed me the cover, a preliminary cover design today.
It's like all will be revealed in good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna work with on that cover design. I was not feeling it. I told her I was not feeling that cover design at all. Just total honesty there. Who else is in the? Let me see here. Okay. So Randy, do you want to jump into the questions?
Are we having anybody else coming in?
A few people, but some of them are not coming into 9 the way
They're not here yet.
No, they're not here yet.
All right.
So
If you have a question, that
I
needs
do
answer,
have some questions.
I can definitely do it.
Okay. All right. Trying to figure out what's a good one for you. All right. Well, we got one from Jay Howe, who's wrote in before. Jay Howe. He's wrote in before a couple. I remember the name. I should write these names down so I know who's, wrote in before. But here's from Jay Howe. Jay Howe says,
Deacon Michael Bassett has joined in and is listening. Sam Buford has joined in.
I'm sorry, this is actually from
Listening.
Sam. I'm sorry, this is the wrong question. But go ahead.
Kurt Zimmerman's on board. Hello,
Kurt Zimmerman.
How you
Kurt
doing,
Zimmerman,
brother?
I got your book.
How you doing, brother?
Yeah,
Comics
all
are
four.
dying. Comic cons are dying. Can we determine the cause? Can we cure it? Sam.
Sam, actually, you just found that out. It's new
Comics are
information.
dying. Comic cons are dying. Oh, wow, that's kind of a downer. Can we determine the cause? Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of people that want to point a lot of fingers. I suppose we can do that.
I just keep taking pills, Sam, and enjoying the ride.
I'm not getting on a soapbox this early. Cool. Are you the artist or did you hire it out? Nice show.
I hired it out.
No one can hear you, woman.
Hired it out. She's writing it.
Yeah.
She
She's
hired
just
it
a
out.
writer.
She's a,
Yeah.
not just. She is the writer.
Just a writer. She can't do it.
Ah. Anyway. Are comics dying according to Comic Cron? Doing the daily numbers? Yes. Comics are down, and they're down. And they're down. The good old Dan Didio's last day was Friday. The head honcho, one of the head honchos over at DC, leaving Jim Lee up there, as Bleeding Cool said, waking up from a 4-day nap and realizing he's the only one left in the joint. So, over at DC, they seem to be having a rough time. Over at Marvel, well, they've always had a rough time, but that's Marvel.
Ralph says comics are not dying. Cons and local comic book shops, maybe.
Maybe all depends upon the shop and how they're able to hang on to. Comics are dying has been a mantra of people since the mid 80s. That's very correct, Brian. Ever since the direct market sprung up and Diamond became the only comics distributor, the main comics distributor through the industry, everybody's been crying that they're killing the business. And they seem to be, choking it pretty well, actually, slowly but surely. The numbers have been dropping since about the 80s, I think. There was a small bump up there in the early 2000s, but you never know. It can always jump back up again if the quality of the comics were to come up just a little bit. They were actually fun and entertaining to read and affordable.
I apologize to
That'd be a good thing.
anybody who sent me any type of messages on Messenger. I recently switched over to the new version of Facebook Beta, and Messenger is all screwed up for me. So I'm not seeing certain messages. I'm not even seeing people up here. I was trying to contact someone that had been in the that had needed a link to come in, and did not see them. So had to actually type in. So I see that I got like 8 or 9 messages. I'll read them after the show. I'm sorry if I missed your message.
I have a bunch of people that are joining over on my on the Facebook that aren't showing up on the StreamYard. Is that possible?
Not
Deacon
sure.
Michael
Yeah,
Bassett,
I see
Craig
the
H.
numbers.
Hatch. Hello, Craig. How you doing?
I see the numbers.
Rob Reed is there. It's all good.
Oh, Brian says-
Are Comic Cons dying? No, some Comic Cons are. We seem to be in a breathing period, depending upon what's going on. Some are, some aren't. We just lost a con around here. We haven't lost any comic shops lately, though. Up in this area, at least. Have we lost any in the area? I think last end of the year or the end of last year, we lost BC.
Mhm.
But other than that, things seem to be going okay. The comic shops seem to be holding on, thanks to the Funko Pop.
The Funko Pops help, but I think that I don't know. I don't know if Funko Pop. I mean, I know one of my local comic book stores. He went heavy in Funko Pops, but it was really weird and unfortunate for him because when he first started, he opened up and he was really, 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 really focused on Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
He's not
obviously,
that focused on it anymore, is he?
he was focused on Star Wars, and believe it or not, Avatar.
Okay.
And
Brian Germain says, I see that as only partially true. They definitely have a vicious sucking chest wound. And I see this as comics are evolving. Chest wound.
How nasty. I've never had a chest wound. I don't have a chest wound, but yeah. That's I'm nasty. I'm nasty.
How
Ew.
nasty.
Ew.
Anyway, yeah, some comics are, some comics aren't. Brian Germain, what's he doing coming in?
I sent him a link. Let's see.
Did you?
Let's see. His devices aren't connected now. Let's see.
Devices are not connected.
Let's see. He's trying. He's trying.
He's trying.
He's pinwheeling. Like that
Can
guy
you hear
in
us?
the
Are
video.
you there? CX2L calling CQ. Hey, I see him. Yeah,
Hey,
he's
can you hear
moving.
me?
Yeah.
Barely. You sound a little muffled.
I probably am. I'm probably coming through my camera.
Yeah. Turn your sound
Yeah,
down a little bit.
You need to turn your other sound down just a
Your
little.
computer.
We're getting a reverb.
Let's see, it's nice. It's nice. You're not connected.
Still hearing it.
You gotta turn your YouTube video down.
Turn your YouTube video down, please. Can you hear us? Are you there?
Who, me?
Hello?
Yeah,
Brian.
Turn,
Yes.
you gotta turn your
Oh,
YouTube.
Brian, you're on.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out which controls I need to turn off.
You're on the stream.
You
Be
can-
on
yeah,
your best
yeah,
behavior.
You can hit mute, and it should.
We can boot you at any time, just so you know.
How are you doing this tonight?
You expose yourself, you're out of here.
Okay, am I got the echo still, or
That sounds
No,
better.
you're good.
now my screen froze? But I don't know if I'm froze.
No, you're fine.
You're still moving fine here. So, introduce yourself. Tell us who you
Uh,
are.
I'm Brian Germain. I run Dark Elf Designs. It's a small press, kind of like self-publishing, co-op publishing type studio, and we mostly do stuff over the internet. And beyond that, I've been doing this for a while. Actually, Randy's one of the people that helped me publish my first book. So he actually helped me do the lettering for that. So
Did I? Okay.
then since 2003 was when I published my first book. So.
I
Right.
wonder. I wonder if you. Oh yeah, Randy. How many careers have you? Are you?
I told you
are
I've done
the
just
thought
about
of?
everything in this industry,
Yeah.
except owned websites, I guess. No, I've done that too, actually. I used
Still-
to have a website called Hype This for a while.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I met Randy back, man, a long time ago. I'm showing my age and Randy's age now, but no,
That's all right.
it was
Everybody
in the
knows I'm
80s.
ancient. It's okay.
It was in the 80s, and I met him and Norm Brayfogle at the same time at Comic Relief doing a comic signing there, and with Kirk Jarman, I believe.
Yeah.
And you know, I was into comics and collecting comics at the time, and I always have been drawing since I was like little. But back in like 99, 2000s, I started getting into trying to draw them. And the first time I showed Moonshadow to Randy, he was he kind of ate my lunch a little bit on it, but but it was worth it because, you know, when I brought it back to him, he was like, "Wow." He's like, "Yeah, this doesn't even look like the same book."
Yeah. I don't I've unfortunately showed my art to Randy one time, and I decided never again. The next time Randy sees my art, it'll be in printed form in the book. No.
What was it mean to you about it?
No, you weren't mean to me about it. No, you told me, you said that I needs to be bigger and this needs to be bigger, and I went through the book and I changed those things. I changed them, and I said I said never again. No,
I'm never showing my stuff to Randy again.
it was one of the, I'm glad I changed it. He was right. He was 100% right about some of the pages and how things need to look. I remember.
That's what's part of being an editor. It's being the drum that drives. Never mind. Anyway, inside
that.
joke. Sorry.
There's that, and trying to get I remember. I forget.
know.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, I know it's just like kind of my opinion on things, but I know a lot of people have been saying comics are dying forever. Oh, comics are dying, and maybe they are in a way, but at the same time, I think they're evolving a lot. And you know, I know that Diamond has a lot to do with that, but also I think that the whole comics are dying thing is kind of just. I heard some guy say it, so I'm gonna say it, or you know, kind of like a telephone game. And
No, I think it's something that's been echoing since the 80s.
yeah,
Actually.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, it just kind of, but I mean, it's kind of like,
circling the drain, eternally circling the drain.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
but it's kind of like what I was going to say is, you know, people said that, you know, radio would kill print. And yeah, sure, there's a lot less newspapers now. And people said that, you know, video would kill radio, and, you know, the internet should kill everything, really, you know. So, But the thing is, I think there will still be comics in some form, format or something. It just may not be what we're used to.
Eric Hodson just joined us live from Alaska inside of a teepee.
Eric?
Eric,
No,
you're inside
I'm
of a
home
teepee?
now. I'm no longer in the Great White North.
Okay. Eric told me the convention was great. It was you're gonna go back.
Yeah. There's another one in Anchorage in April, so I'm gonna give that one a shot.
It worked out real good for you then.
Oh yeah. It was a really good show. The people were very enthusiastic.
Captive audience. Of
They
course,
had
it's Alaska.
they'd never gotten a Comic-Con out there before, and so they were really grateful that everybody was there. I
That's
kept
cool.
getting thanked over and over again for coming out all this way to see them.
Yeah.
You flew here from where? Michigan?
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
crap. Thanks for being here.
The weather's not much different, right? No.
You know what? Actually, it was 10 degrees, and I'm like, what? I came prepared for 40 below. This is just like Michigan.
Yeah.
And it's a dry, it's weird because it's just like with being out in Nevada, the dry heat.
Mhm.
A dry cold doesn't feel as bad as a wet cold.
Mm.
Like here in Michigan, because of the moisture and the humidity, it gets to your bones.
Mhm.
It just was just cold, but it didn't like make my bones ache.
Yeah. How long was the flight?
Let's see. All total, it was 16 hours. That includes a 5-hour layover in Anchorage.
My back hurt just thinking about it.
Oh, it was a grueling experience. I left at 9:30 p.m. on Friday, and got to Fairbanks at 7:30 a.m. on Saturday.
Oh, man.
Mm-mm. Nope.
But I got a lot of flatting work on Roddy Piper done, and I also caught up on some reading, so it wasn't non-profitable.
Well, that's good. At least you got caught up on some stuff. And
Pixels in traffic. He'll try to connect, though.
okay, at least you caught up on some art, and you got back safely. That's what matters. Now
That
you're
is.
going. Now you're going back. Oh my goodness. Larry Lonsby Jr. says, "What's up, guys? How you doing, Larry?" Yeah, that's another Larry. I couldn't imagine that trip, Eric, and I'm glad you did it, but I couldn't have imagined it.
Rob's in the house.
I would like you to weigh in on this question, though, Eric.
Okay,
Give us a
sure.
question.
So why is brave? I'm not quite sure I understand that.
And this is a question from Jay Howe, who has wrote in before. And Eric, Randy, could you read that question?
Jay Howe. Thanks for writing in. The crowdfunding movement won't save comics, but it will save creatives. Jay Howe.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a question, more of someone's opinion and statement, but
Yeah.
The crowdfunding movement, it is what it is. I mean, it's a good vehicle. It's a new way of distribution, and it skips the middleman. It skips having to worry about Diamond. It solves a lot of really good problems that need to be solved. But I think it's just another alternative. I mean, if it takes a certain kind of something to jump into that pool and succeed. Our first salvo into it didn't really succeed as what we would like. I'm hoping my next venture does. But it's a good way of breaking down barriers, and I think as long as you're willing to push forward and be a good business person about it, I think it is a great avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as saving the comics industry, it's you parse that. Which comic are you trying to save? You're talking about Marvel and DC. I mean, that's a completely different animal. They're going to have to right their ship or get written off and sold. I think AT&T might be looking to actually divest themselves of DC Comics. At least the pamphlet books. They'll probably hold on to the marketability of the movies and all that, but they might just go to a licensing model for most of that. As far as Marvel, I mean, Marvel sales haven't started to they're not bounding back until they change their leadership and their writing style of what they're currently pandering to. It's not going to bring in a general audience. I mean, like, I'll give you a really good example from the movies. I went and saw Sonic the Hedgehog today. It was amazing. It was true to the material. They listened to the fans. It was a great family-friendly film, and it's still number one at the box office. It's probably gonna clean house like crazy, and that's people caring about the content, making the content, caring about what the customers think. So unless Marvel and DC do that, they're not going to rescue their butts.
Yeah. Speaking of somebody who's tied into crowdfunding quite a bit, Pixel has joined us. Hello, sir.
Are you there, Pixel?
He said he's in traffic. I can't hear him though.
Can you hear us? You can't hear us? I'm in traffic. Oh, no, he said he's in traffic. Could try to connect, though. I think he's connected.
Yeah, he's connected, but he's.
Pixel, are you there? No. Should we kick him?
Well, no, I mean he might start working at the last minute. Who knows?
Yeah, he might speak up. Speak up.
He'll be back. He said he's in chat, but he's got an audio issue. So
Oh, okay.
Speak up when you can.
Yeah, speak up when you can.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who'd
just
we
dropped?
lose?
Oh, Eric. We lost.
We just
Eric,
lost Eric.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me.
But yeah.
But as far as the crowdfunding movement, saving comics, no, but it is going to make some people some nice careers for the time being or for the foreseeable future. And that's a good thing. Maybe maybe start up some really interesting publishing companies printing some nice, interesting comics.
I would hope so. I need to. I've never crowdfunded, but I mean, anytime that people can make money in this industry is great. Brian, you haven't done any crowdfunding yet, have you?
I did one crowdfunding campaign, and it was for another person's comic book that I was publishing, and basically it turned out to. It wasn't successful.
do we have another question, or are we moving on?
And I tried to kind of.
We're kind of hoping Pixel will drop in and be able to talk. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I was just saying I kind of tried to steer the person away from doing certain things with the Kickstarter, and they were less than enthused to do what I was telling them. So I wasn't surprised that it was unsuccessful.
Yeah. Well, if you're joined in and you're listening on Facebook, feel free to jump in on the chat. I have a lot of people here that are on board. You're welcome to chat in if you'd like. You don't have to be just on YouTube. We're also on YouTube and Twitch. And where else are we?
Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and we're on INDIEVOLT TV as well as on INDIEVOLT Radio right now.
We have over 2,000 people on INDIEVOLT Radio.
2401 right now. So that's
2401.
Nice. Yes,
with
Germany.
To us all over the world.
Germany being the lead. I was going to say Hail Germany, but that's probably bad. So that'll probably get me.
I'm not even sure the proper greeting there, nor do I want to attempt it for fear that they'll laugh at us instead of with us.
Yeah.
So here we go. Let's see here.
What?
Brian, remember your microphone is on.
I muted him. He's good.
Oh, did you? Okay. You're good,
I'll bring him back. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready to come back.
When you're back.
Yeah, give me a thumbs up. You ready?
Give us a thumbs up when you're back, bud.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So
hey guys, no question here. I just wanted to thank you for all that you do every week for indie comics and entertainment. Zim, Varian, Lola, Josh, Scott, all make my week a bit more tolerable. Keep it up. I'm sorry that you're having intolerable weeks. L. Nolan, L. Nolan, thank you so much. You're a big contributor to this show. You like to send us a lot of questions, and we deeply appreciate it, no matter how much you want to disagree with us. You're always welcome to chime in. Pixel is still muted. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pixel, are you there?
Yeah, I was coming off the highway, so I didn't want to take over the whole stream with my audio.
No problem. We had a question.
As long as it wasn't screaming and the sound of brakes, it's all good.
Yeah, that's never good.
Okay. Real quick, got a thing. Marquise Parson said he shared it out. Says they always tell you how Goodman created Marvel, but never quite give you an in-depth detail of resources he had. Okay, he published Western Newsstand, etc., etc. But how? But before we get into that, Pixel, we got a comment from someone that said that crowdfunding won't save comics, but it will save creatives.
You want to put the previous board up?
I deleted
Okay, delete it. It said crowdfunding won't save comics.
Yeah.
But it'll help the creatives. What do you think?
I think that's pretty accurate, actually.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because you got to look at scale, right? There's a few creators out there that are definitely making a living. They're sustaining themselves on these massive campaigns. Brian Pulido just did a massive campaign. It's still going right now, but for Lady Death. Bigfoot Bill right now, #2, is currently at like, God, what is it already? Like 60K, something like that.
Yeah.
In one day. People like that have a following and they're able to do the crowdfunding and they're going to be okay. But when you look at a normal person that wants to create comics and stuff and try to rebuild the industry, I don't know if that's really sustainable because of the fact that you've got so much. Okay, let's step back for a second. The first time you found a comic book, it was probably on a spinner rack or it was in a store somewhere that you're able to get access to it really easily.
Oh, yeah.
When you were a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so look at it right now. If these companies collapse and you want to buy a book somewhere, how are you going to get them? The only place is online, which means you're going to have your parents' money or a credit card or something to be able to tap into these resources. You're not going to just be able to walk through the store with your mom or dad and point to something on the shelf and say, "Hey, I want that."
Right.
Now, Allegiance has they've got their 3 books that are coming out through Walmart. That's a great step in the right direction, but that's
4.
not or 4 books, yeah. That's a great step in the right direction because you're putting the books in the stores and they crowdfunded that to get it going. But I just don't know if you can rely on crowdfunding to keep that model active. You're paying way too much per book to be able to do that. I hate to put it down because I have a lot of friends that are doing this stuff, and I've built a site around trying to promote it, but I think it's a great model to get somebody out there and get a book started. But to have a sustainable book, I think it's going to take more. We have to do a lot more volume before you actually save an industry. But there's definitely efforts being made to do that. I don't know, man. I'm a little more pessimistic looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have hope. I really do. I have hope that it gets fixed. But
Do you think you're pessimistic because you're so close to the numbers? I mean, your site is about the numbers.
It could be. It very well could be. Though, like Peter Simeti, if people were to adopt a model like him, if Marvel was to go back to roots and try to do more like Peter Simeti's doing, DC were to go back, lower their prices, step back on the materials a little bit, but still have quality art and stories, which they're kind of struggling with a little bit here and there right now. But if they were to do something like that, I think there's a much better chance to fix things, to be able to keep people interested in it. I'm sure the stores would be happier because they'd be able to take more books in and have a better chance to sell more as well. I don't know. I don't know the retail side of this stuff, right? The store owners, because ultimately the industry really revolves around them. If they can't put their stuff on the shelves, if they can't keep their doors open, these companies aren't going to stay alive.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that they I mean, you kind of wish there was a revolution or something for the stores. Something the stores can do besides order retailer packs of these books.
Sure. Well, okay.
There may not be help in the stores though. Maybe there's no help in them.
I don't know. And that's another thing too. So the retail packs are a great idea because it gets your book inside the store. The problem is all of these guys run on really low margins too. So if you buy a book and you got a retailer pack coming that says it's going to be in your hands in September, you're plotting your money for September. That book winds up being a year and a half late. You just screwed yourself out of money you could have spent on some other book that would have got you money in September.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get a lot more accountable as far as getting books out on time and hitting deadlines and being that beacon of what the industry is supposed to be, rather than falling into the same pitfalls as a lot of these guys have did in the past.
I think in order to do that, the crowdfunding has to evolve a little bit more.
I agree. I agree.
Some more people have to step up. Some more people have to step back. More companies have to be established and come out with more product.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Am I still getting double
No.
No,
Okay,
you're good,
Yeah,
Brian.
yeah.
You're good.
Rob Reed says, I think comics are just opening up to the mainstream in terms of storytelling possibilities. And then we got, of course, we got Larry in the chat. Larry says he's LP, writer, creator, gamer, podcaster, Canadian, a Zimmerman fan. The first Kickstarter track by Andy Cron, cocky and arrogant, the mother of dragons, the breaker of chains, the man of a thousand nicknames. Larry Five is alive, kneel before his eye.
The destroyer of worlds.
And
What?
the advocating channel says comics aren't dying, they are evolving.
Yeah, Rob, 100%.
And Marquise said, I think the question is to ask is what is no one doing different?
I think
Huh?
Marquis got a point there.
Mhm. No one's doing anything different.
I think that a lot of the brick and mortar stores are in like huge trouble. Not just because like people aren't just attracted to just going in and get comics, but also that there needs to be almost a, for lack of a better term, a gimmick to get people in the store.
Well, they
mean-
have to. There's a lot that some of these retailers have to get past, too, and that is that they have to understand they're a comic store, not a Marvel DC store.
Yeah,
That's a big one as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of that's the way that they've been trained by Diamond in that previews magazine. You know,
Yeah.
that they need to come out and start looking for comics that they can sell to their customers, and not I got to buy 10 of these because it's a Marvel book. I got to buy 5 of those because it's a DC book. That kind of thing.
yeah. If
Because
I could figure out a way, I'd probably kickstart a distribution system.
yeah. Well, Peter Cimetti's really working in that direction.
Larry says, Larry Lonsby Jr. says, do you think if the, I'm just going to call you LJ, is that okay, Larry? The other Larry. Do you think do you
Hey,
think
Larry.
if the mainstream companies like Marvel and DC stop publishing single issues, do you think it would open the gates for more indie comics to step forward and produce more content and gain more exposure for those who are looking for new comics that were used to getting them from the mainstream? So will indie creators be able to step forward and take on the mantle with quality stuff?
Well, one thing that I've heard a lot lately, especially lately, is that the Marvel DC model is a 2000s model where they have to do one of 6 in order to fit into a graphic novel. Well, the graphic novel sales are dropping because the bookstores are dropping and the graphic novel as a format is dropping. And that these companies need to think about going back to the old one and done, two and done stories in order to bring retailers back up and to have product for these retailers to sell that's accessible to the casual person walking through the door. So that they don't have to buy an entire book. If they bought a small comic, a 32 pager, they're still laying down $4 or $5 in order to get it, but they're getting a complete story. And that's something that really drove up, in my opinion, the sales at Marvel and DC for decades, is because they at least told a beginning, middle, and end in every issue. Different villain, different story, different direction, or whatever. And that kept people reading and enjoying. And the more complete stories they read, the more they'll get into the character, as opposed to going, oh, I'd read this, but I've got 1, 3, and 5 of the 6 that I have to go back and dig. So it sits on a shelf until they can find the other group. My wife's got a big book full of stuff where she's looking for numbers. You know, she's trying to collect issue 2 of this, issue 3 of that, issue 5 of this. And then when she gets them all together, she sits and reads them all at once. And that's not practical,
binging her
especially in
comics.
today's market.
You know, I want to mention something. I was at a con. I was actually at C4 a couple years ago, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, when news broke that Comixology just started that unlimited plan. Basically, binging comics, you pay once a month and you get like all these books as much as you can read.
Yeah.
And I remember some of my friends who were on Comixology freaking the hell out because they're like, "Wait a minute, how are my numbers going to be affected by this?" Rob says, Comicsgate has figured out how to excite a base and make them show up to multiple campaigns instead of individual cult leaders and ego-driven creators. That's
Very true. Yep.
AT&T,
But again, I think a lot of Comicsgate is going out and finding these people that were so aggravated, again, to go back to that 2000 model, where they were diluting the stories, and they just got out because they didn't like the characters or the story. That, oh, this story sucks. I'll have to pick this book back up in a half a year after they're done pooping on, their one through six.
And you know what's
And a lot of the Comicsgate stuff that they're selling right now are contained graphic novels.
Mm-hmm.
You buy it, you wait for it, you get it, you read it, and you have somewhat of a complete story.
Yeah, Joe Earl says AT&T is going to close DC Comics soon. DC Comics is one of the few companies I don't have stock in that's failing. So we should.
Well, you'd have to have stock in AT&T now.
Yeah. I don't have stock in AT&T. Just Wizard.
Joe, that's been a rumor for the last couple of months because DC is not performing. But the real aggravating thing about that is all they need is somebody inventive up there in that publisher section, and DC could turn around really fast, like within 6 months to a year. And for a corporate, that's really fast. All they have to do is get somebody in there who's inventive enough to re-spark these retailers on their product, and you'd see them make profit real quick.
Ralph says the big two are sucking the few remaining dollars out of comic fans, chasing variants and mass producing as much as possible, sucking of shelf space too. Sorry, all that sucking. I'm like, wasn't it?
What?
Right,
Possible sucking of shelf space?
Yeah. Someone's getting sucked on the shelf
That's
space.
a big straw.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
So, Randy.
Yeah.
It's come that time of the show where I have to put up a question that we've been trying to avoid.
Oh.
Go ahead and read it, Randy.
The master question.
And this is going to get everybody pissed.
Kevin D. So. Let's talk. Oh, really? Do we have to?
Redacted.
Yeah.
Let's talk name redacted. Why is no one considering that some of the very same gals and who gave him glowing reviews also ... gave him something else? Are their reviews now tainted? Are there blurbs praising his contributions to the industry moot? Is he comic books Zoe Q? Stands for Zoe Quinn, who was with Gamergate, Devin D. Devin, first off, thanks for writing. This has been a touchy subject the last couple of weeks because of everything that's come out since whatever Gastronomicon, and name redacted Facebook post about trying to do better and starting a floodgate of women coming up talking about how they were abused mentally, financially. Nobody yet has stepped forward saying physically, but we all know that there's something going on here. Now, has he all of these favors that he's done, has it tainted his reviews? Has it all the blurbs about his contributions, has it tainted those? I would say absolutely, and that some things, some people just need to stop.
Well, I think it's time for me to speak.
You're going to address this?
I'm gonna address it in a way.
Do we need to? Do you have a soapbox handy?
I have been sending Pixel Trader nudes of Wolverine for
Pix.
Yeah, for about 4 weeks now, in hopes to get my book number one on the IndieCron boards. I've been trying. He hasn't responded yet.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
None of that works. Now, if you were sending them to Jude Terror, you might get better results.
No, I do think though that guys. Okay. So what? Let me see if I got this question right, because I was kind of confused about what
name redacted.
Are they saying that they feel? Or is he asking if people's reviews were tainted because they had a relationship with that person? I know. I mean, in Gamergate, that seems to be the case. That was one of the big questions. Like, did she just get good reviews because she had been
sleeping around?
Yeah. So
Zoe Q. Yeah, in Gamergate.
Yeah, I mean, are we gonna start? Is he asking? Are we gonna start asking that question? I don't know if that question hasn't been asked, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I hope that's not the case.
I read a real interesting sermon today that kind of, in my mind, summed everything up about what's happened, and that is he's the equivalent of a cult leader.
Is that what Rob sent you?
Yeah.
Oh, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that.
I was
That's
just
cool.
saying that he made some. I thought whoever wrote that made some very valid points about. Every once in a while, you'll see these people with this electric personality that seem to attract the people that are, I won't say weak, but have low self-esteem or don't think much about themselves, and they kind of become a cult leader, and they start blindly following him. And we've seen a lot of that the last couple of years. You know, somebody writes a book, and everybody thinks that they're the end all and ultimate guru of their of the comic industry. So and this person name redacted gets taken off of his pedestal because women start comparing notes and realizing that he's been running them like a broken record over and over and over again. And
he did. Rob says
you can
name
break
redacted.
that spell with a little bit of self-esteem and some note comparing and some bravery, and pull it all out into the opener, and just get it, push it out of the industry.
Rob says name redacted made some women drunk for sure, but he would have to ask him to update those reviews. And he also says the thing is Pastor Crutmonger's Church of Life, the Hope of Understanding. You can go over there and check that out if you want. Pixel, is that a Gemini mailer on your? Is that a book?
That would be a Gemini mailer. I just grabbed this out of my mailbox a second ago.
Cool.
And
what'd you get? It's kind of an unboxing.
Holy crap! We thought they'd never show up.
got the Futurist #1.
It's Allegiance art stuff.
Oh, hokey smoke! Look at that. That's awesome.
Hokey smoke.
Norris Saga.
Hokey smokes, Bullwinkle. That's before your time. I'm sorry, Barry.
And we got Bass Reeves.
Oh, it looks awesome. No Red Rooster?
No Red Rooster. They're still working on that one, but
still coming.
That would have been killer. If that would have been in here, I would have flipped.
So so let's count Norris Saga from Allegiance.
From Allegiance.
Norris Saga.
Yeah.
Yep.
From Allegiance. Bass Reeves and the Futurists.
And the Futurists.
And you got some cool swag. This is like a sticker and
a sticker, like a little banner.
Looks like a little banner, bookmark, something or other. It's tucked inside the plastic there.
That looks cloth. That looks like a ribbon.
Yeah.
It might be. I'll have to pop it out later.
It's a red ribbon.
It's a red ribbon book.
Celebrating their books. That looks like they're icons.
Yeah. Pix, I think we mentioned this before, but you don't have to say names, but have you been bribed? Has anybody tried to bribe you?
No, nobody's tried to bribe me.
Nobody's tried to bribe you yet. Not yet. Not yet. I'm coming.
Not yet. I am well open for bribes, though, if anybody wants to try. we can talk. Man,
we're all bribable, yes.
I'm tired of losing money on my site. I'll gladly take a little bit of cash here. Yeah, I wouldn't mind monetizing it more. And that's actually something I'm looking at doing. The ads completely fell through because everybody has ad blockers. So that didn't help too much. But I've got a few things I'm working on. I'm still trying to figure out ways to monetize the site, though. I would love to at least break even on it. I'm about halfway there. I've got a couple people that have done subscription through PayPal kind of thing, and have started backing the site that way, which I really greatly appreciate.
Yeah, I love your site, and I think that I honestly don't think you get enough credit for what you've done. It's informative, especially because you can go right there and get all the numbers. I don't have to bounce around from page to page trying to figure out, who's done what.
The only thing I regret, honestly, is that I kind of let go of not really control of the site, because I've always had control of the site, but it wasn't always me representing the site. I had 2 periods here, one with 2 guys before, and then also with Edwin. And while I love Edwin, Edwin's currently on a mission to destroy CG, and he wants nothing to do with them and everything. I've got friends in CG. I still, I still promote their books. I wanted to be more neutral, and I wanted to kind of keep that thing. And unfortunately, because I've had certain people associated with the site in the past, some people think it's his. And it's unfortunate, because I had people that I talked to said, yeah, we'd love to list with you, but you know, it's Edwin's site. We don't want to list on your site.
Mhm.
I'll
Like,
be
no, no,
honest.
no, no, no. It's my site, guys. It's my site.
I'll be honest with you. I thought it was Edwin's at first too.
Yeah, same
I
here.
thought, and then it's like, wait a minute, he doesn't. Yeah, so it's.
Yep.
These are
Yeah.
asking, what does Edwin do? Yeah, it's yeah,
So ultimately, Edwin was a hype man.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. Edwin was a hype man for me. Jean-Luc and Dr. Wright were hype men for me too.
Mhm.
What I had found was I was spending, and I still do now. It's all me running the site. I do all of the creator relations. I'm sitting here writing the code to make sure the site's updated. I'm finding bugs on it, fixing them. I'm loading in new info every day.
Mhm.
A lot of the stuff, at least all the numbers and everything's automated, but there's still a lot of work that I put in every day to make sure that the data is protected and the sites stay live.
Yeah, I
And-
mean, and that's a lot of work you're doing. I mean,
It is, and then trying to do marketing on top of that. Where do I have time to actually have a real job and do other stuff? So yeah, man, that's the only downside. And so I had asked for help a couple times, but as soon as you bring somebody in on a project, you start to lose your vision.
If you need anybody to blame the site on, blame it on Rob Anderson. We'll say it's Rob Anderson's site. Rob has been accused of owning many sites, and we'll get around to that too, Rob. Marquise asked, he said, when people buy comics, are they buying the story or buying the cover? Or both? For me, it's the art. I have bought books because of the cover and never once read the story. So would it be fair to assume you can sell books based on the cover and less of the story? I've been doing that for years, Marquise.
Yeah.
And that whole Tom King Batman run?
Even before that, you had Neil Adams doing awesome Batman covers.
Yeah. I got some Mike Turner covers
DC's
like
been
that.
doing that. Comics literally have been doing that for years. So.
Yeah, I mean variant covers. I got the story once, but I got like 8 covers to the book.
Yep. That's
yeah.
indiecron.com, right? Pixel?
Yep. CHRONE, RON, not NOE.com.
Yeah, you can leave the H out of it.
Can we? Yeah. Take the H out.
Well,
Yeah.
They both
H.
work. So yeah, so the kind of running joke here is that the original site was actually the spreadsheet that Edwin had created was IndieCron CH, and that was based off of Comic Cron. In the programming world, crons are automated jobs, and they're spelled CRON. And so when I built the site, I named it IndieCron, just CRON, kind of as a tribute to the automated nature of the site.
Right.
So people still call it CHRON all the time, and I try to correct that because that's not really the branding for it.
Right.
But
I see.
I don't care, honestly. They both take you to the same place, so I'm not too worried about it. But it's just funny.
I was once asked, INDIEVOLT, how come I didn't spell it INDY? And I'm like, that's a state. that's Indiana. We are Indiana Volt. But yeah, it's I do think it's very important that with your site especially that we find a way to monetize that, because even still, like, there's gonna be, we need a place to keep those numbers and keep them honest and keep them up there. And now I do have one question for you.
Yeah.
Say someone's crowdfunding campaign gets removed. Does it automatically come off your site? Does it automatically, or is that automated, or will it just say they can't be found, or?
Okay, so if it's like it got killed, it wasn't. So if it gets killed by Kickstarter or Indiegogo, usually what I'll do is, because the campaign didn't fund, I'll go ahead and kill it on the site, because there's no point to it. It didn't actually make money. The only time I keep the info on the site is if it actually made money. So there failed campaigns and campaigns that get killed or whatever, they get pulled off. I don't want to leave the bodies on the field. I want to focus on the real numbers that people have. So there have been a few instances, though, where a campaign has successfully funded, and then I think they've deleted the campaign off of Indiegogo or something before. My numbers stay intact because my information is locked into my database. So even if they kill their campaign page, I still have all that data recorded.
Okay,
But
I get you.
yeah, because I want to keep record of that. And that's the other thing too, is gosh, if you go look at Eric Weather's information on the site sometime, it's kind of funny, because what I do is I link all the campaigns that people are connected to, and I have a running total. And Eric Weathers is the $1 million man, probably close to 2 at some point. Well, I've had a couple campaigns come off the site now that could have boosted his numbers even further, but if they were still on there, he's helped a ton of campaigns make money. That guy's everywhere.
It's because he is the letter man.
He is the letterer. Yeah.
For some reason, I'm sorry. Okay.
I put Brian back in the green room, if that's what you're wondering.
No. I just for some reason I'm having some problems with Lola's tip jar, but she did get $5 from Fish Sticks.
Fish Sticks.
Yeah, Fish Sticks. Says, "Marry me?" ?
I'm already married.
She says she's already. Yeah. Screw you, Fish Sticks.
Sorry, Fish Sticks.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
Already taken. If you're out there watching us right now on the YouTube, make sure you hit that like button.
Yeah,
I appreciate each and every one of you.
Pixel's the only guest right now, so he gets to pick. You get to pick a flavor. Lola has this thing she does where if they donate $5, she gets to take a shot, so she gets paid to drink. So you get to pick a flavor. What flavors do you have? You have to unmute yourself so we can hear you.
I'm gonna unmute her. Brian Germain's coming back on.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, I have sour apple, tropical punch, cherry, or watermelon.
I think it's gonna be a watermelon day.
Watermelon, awesome. That's my favorite.
I had a flask.
And wife aggro.
You had a flask.
I left it in Randy's car.
You left it in my car.
Let's see.
And whose fault is that? That's not my fault.
It's my fault. It dropped out of my car.
It's my favorite part of the show.
Yeah. And
there it goes.
Only I don't have alcohol too, so there's that.
No face. We got to get her something stronger.
Some good old fashioned.
I don't need anything stronger.
Thank you,
tequila.
Fish Sticks. We appreciate it.
You.
That is.
Thanks to everybody listening on INDIEVOLT Radio.
INDIEVOLT Radio question right now.
Awesome.
How much of a businessman do I need to be in the comic book business? FUCK. He says.
So obviously, that sounds like somebody has been in the comic book business and has tasted it. That's why that last remark. Fuck. How much of a businessman do I have to be in this business?
Yeah,
I'm afraid you almost have to split yourself in half. Half of you has to be businessman. Half of you has to be creative. That's why a lot of these companies have staffs. You know, where they have somebody it's their job to handle this, or it's their job to handle,
It
the
also,
art. That's why they have
it also doesn't hurt to be a social media expert.
that too.
Yeah, that would help. I mean, it definitely would help to be a social media expert, but you just have to know what to say and when to say it. I mean,
We can't all be like Peter Simeti, who seems to be doing it all.
I just can't be online. I just try not to get on Twitter. That's all. Stay off of Twitter, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
No, I just contact a few people on Twitter. Like I talked to Pixel. I talked to you, Randy. I talked to Simon. A few others.
You
I send
talk to
direct
me more on
messages
Messenger, on Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, on Facebook. Yeah, but like if you just don't put stuff up on Twitter, you should be fine. You should be fine. Stay off of Twitter.
You'll definitely be saner in the long run.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Definitely.
Pixel, you I mean, by being on, you had some drama weeks ago, and it seems to have died down.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much it died down. I muted so many people that my feed is beautiful. So I couldn't tell you for sure.
Whatever keeps you sane.
No one's called for your head in about 8 days now.
Nobody that we know of.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Well, I think the fan advocacy stuff came out shortly after all of that. And so they kind of focused on that. And then there's some other stuff that's happened since. And so, I'm last week's flavor now.
Isn't it sad we all kind of like duck, like, uh-oh, what have I done? Let me
So
duck.
so there's an idea that I had talked to one of the girls that was involved with the name redacted.
Yeah.
And I discussed, and she thought maybe it might be a decent idea if regardless of how painful it might be, is if some of these girls kind of retell their stories in a book format and put the proceeds towards something like Rain or something like that.
Yeah.
Rain.
Yeah, it's like a rape awareness. It's RAINN, but
Okay.
or something toward like a women's abuse shelter or
the stories
something.
we're getting, that from what I understand, it's the same story over and over and over and over again. It's almost the same pattern.
Yeah.
Except for a few. Of them.
What?
There was one that wasn't.
I'm sure they developed like an MO.
One wasn't.
There seems to be a hardcore MO. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Depending upon how much abuse he can get away with, and in what area. Some people have given him, or he's taken advantage money wise, or just about mentally, mostly mentally.
I would be curious to know if really monetizing it is the wisest course of action. I mean, I get it. I know the phrase monetize everything, but sometimes it's like, look, I mean, if you're gonna be Paul Revere riding through the streets, you're not gonna.
Not gonna monetize the British thing.
Hey, I got a message for I just would rather they tell their stories, but again, this isn't my pain. This isn't my story to tell.
Yeah.
The only thing we ask is that if there are any public book burnings that are going to be happening out there because of name redacted, please get them on video.
Yeah.
That's all we ask.
Books now.
Somebody did say something about like getting rid of their book now. They're like, I don't know if I should get rid of this book now. And I'm like, well, you paid for it. If there's anything useful in it, you might want to use it. But other than that, I just not buy any more of his stuff.
I have a paper shredder.
Wait till you guys find out what I've done. Wait till you guys find out what I've done, man. I used to go to this site called AsianThumbs.org, and never mind. Anyway,
that's PMI, TMI,
PMI.
I
don't understand.
Pretty much informative.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, guys.
Is that a geekgasm topic you're going into there?
Yeah.
That's on Wednesday, 9
I was going
o'clock.
to say that's a geekgasm forum topic.
Wednesday at 9 o'clock.
Not for this show.
Not for this show.
Teslon says, "Isn't that person married as well?" Welcome, Teslon. Isn't that person?
Welcome,
that person is married.
Probably they could be.
That person is married. Yeah. And then womanizing in Rome. Man, you guys are like on point tonight with the.
Yeah, Pixel. I know you don't live in the area, so you probably haven't been part of this drama. So it's all good.
I'll clue you in.
We could clue you in later.
Yeah, I will clue you in there. But
that's rather torrid.
That's a nice clothing store. They do not have bras to fit Lola, though. They don't have bras.
Those are all special order.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
There's
However,
a place in Royal Oak that has. Don't ask me how I know.
What now?
There's a place in Royal Oak that has like a good bra selection.
Yeah. What are you at now? A G?
I'm probably at an H.
An H.
I'm growing right now.
Yeah, she has this problem where they grow every year, and it costs quite a bit of money to go get new bras, and I'm tired of it. And I just wanted to find why can't she be like some girls?
They're expensive as well.
Why can't she be like my ex and just have this one dingy, dirty bra she wore all the time? It wasn't sexy.
That's what you want.
It was a dingy. It used to be white, but now it was just like eggshell color. It had like some brown stains on it, and it was just like her. Just
for more information on that, you might want to tune in tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
Yeah, we'll talk about my boobs tomorrow.
We'll talk about my ex-girlfriend's boobs tomorrow. Yeah, and
Lola has promised to talk about her boobs tomorrow on Geekgasm, only on INDIEVOlt Radio,
right.
9 p.m. Wednesdays.
I do have a question for you guys though from INDIEVOLT Radio. This person wants to know, how long should it take you to draw a 22-page comic? Brian, we'll start with you. You how long should it take you to draw a 22-page comic?
Oh boy. Well, I would say that it depends on when you want to finish it.
What? Week and a half. What? No.
I would say, for me, it's taking all day. but I will say this: I am proud of every page that I've done. I'm proud of
And
every page that I've
redone.
done.
You do about a page a day.
And redone.
Oh no, page.
And
I can lay it out in a
redone.
day.
Yeah. When I was drawing like steadily, I was doing about a page a day, maybe 2 on a good day.
Yeah, nah. And I do like the name of Brian's company. If anybody, Dark Elf Designs is the name of his company. Sometimes I always look at him like I should steal that logo, but then I remember it's Brian's company. And I can't steal his logo, so I decided not to be a dick.
Shouldn't steal anybody's logo.
No,
We could do like an amalgam thing, and you could do like Dark Elf Last Call or something.
Yeah. I'll put the Tipsy
Just drinking
hat
a beer, you know.
I'll put Tipsy's hat on it.
Last Dark Elf call comics.
We're not gonna ask Randy how quickly he draws pages because we know how quick Randy draws.
Very slowly.
Pixel, how long does it take you to code a page?
The code a page?
Yeah.
I don't know. It all depends on the complexity. Same thing with drawing a page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, how strong are your skills with ink? Versus pencils. Like if you're a good penciler and you're a good inker, then you can slap that all together in a day. Awesome. But if you kind of suck at inking like I do, I probably won't even touch it with ink.
Oh yeah, it takes me far longer to ink a page than it does to draw it.
And Pixel, you've got a book, right? Are you working on a book?
I'm still not good.
I am toying with a book, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a couple things that I've been working on. I've got a character called Critical Snail. It's a robotic cyborg snail. I don't know if I got the pictures here right now, but I know if Weldon gave me a nice drawing of him too. But the whole story about that guy is he's a. How long do you have?
Go ahead.
No, well,
So it's a long and involved epic story of cosmic proportions.
Exactly. Actually, hold on. I've got a trading card right here in front of me. Let me grab it real quick.
That could be all summed up on a trading card.
Awesome. Who is name redacted? Does it rhyme with Charmy Crimestein? No, this rhymes with
Charmy Crimestein, no.
No. Name redacted is rhymes with
Hang on. Let's come up with a good one.
Okay.
Can I use the one that they wanted to use if we did a book about it?
Perk Danning.
There you go.
Perk slamming.
They said if we did a book about it, we should call him Dork Panning.
Dork Panning.
Panning. Yeah.
Dork Panning. Dirt Panning.
Yeah. Do all of you have any current projects, comics coming out or currently out? Yeah. I got a company. My company's called Last Call Comics. We got a couple different books, and I got my book coming out very soon. It's called Begotten. It is coming very soon. We got some exciting news coming from Last Call Comics as well that I have not introduced, that I have not announced yet, but I will be very soon. Rival Steve says it's a cool name, and he's referring to Dark Elf Designs. Advocating channel says Dirk Manning.
Oh, what? No, that doesn't rhyme with anything.
A man named Dirk. Guy who made hops called Dirk Manning. It's a very unfortunate situation with Mr. Manning. However, I do have a question.
Who made hops?
Oh, there we go. That's
the snail?
That's pretty. I like that gun.
Cool.
You can't see it?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Critical Snail.
There we go. Okay, now my volume is back. Yeah, so Critical Snail. So the back of the card says guns, check. Tragic backstory, sure. Marauders, Cool space pirates, hell yeah. A giant pissed off cyborg snail with a massive grudge, unlimited ammo, and a hamster in a mech suit. Yeah, wait, what? Critical Snail. For whom this is. Yeah, so the whole thing is about this snail that was a pet that is used in these. There's a whole game aspect to this where snails are used as like. Any of you guys ever played Car Wars?
No.
It's a tabletop game. Okay,
a long time ago. Yeah.
Steve Jackson game.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of the same concept. These snails are all used to do battle with each other. And you can upgrade them and do all this kind of stuff. So I'm thinking about building a game around it where you can buy upgrades for your snail or whatever and then have your snails attack each other. This snail gets damaged in one of those battles and gets discarded. This tinkerer girl who's got a robotic arm finds him and fixes him up, and they become friends. She gets kidnapped by marauders and sold into slavery on a prison planet. He winds up being found by pirates and gets upgrades. So he's pissed off. He wants to go find his friend. He meets a hamster that has a mech suit, and there's a whole backstory for that guy as well. And they team up and go blasting throughout the universe trying to find this girl. And then they find her and then stuff happens. But
I hope you
yeah.
have that all written down somewhere.
Oh, I've got it all written down.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun story. It's really
Sounds
fun.
like it.
I just don't have a lot of time.
Right. And that's one of the things. I mean, Lola's finding it out. She's started writing her own book, and now she's catching hell because she's writing her own book now, and she respects writers now. She told me she didn't respect writers before. Now she does.
Sorry for the behind baseball here, Brian, but what is the address that you put in the private
Oh,
chat?
that link is just something I'm working on right now. It's actually just an image from the Galatea book that we're working on.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
That is
also,
a long line of address there.
Yeah, it's on Facebook. It's a image code for
Okay.
like one of the pages.
Well, I'm currently working on a crowdfunding book that'll be a graphic novel, but I have a ways to go on it. In the meantime, I'm also working on a... Huh?
Can you tell us about it or no?
No, not yet.
Oh,
No, I'm not even...
I'm excited for what it might be.
I'm barely 10% into it, so
okay.
when I get more of it done and I'm ready to even post it as coming up on Indiegogo, I will definitely be doing that. But in the meantime, I'm working on a commercial job that'll turn into a comic. The next Preserver's Nature Trail.
Oh, right.
I'm working on. It'll be the 6th one. I've got the 5th book done. That'll hopefully be going to press as soon as it's approved for last year's trail. So that'll be fun and available through the Genesee County Parks and Recreation.
Lola, you King Cookie just donated €7.
Donated.
Which
King Cookie donated
€7.
€7
is more. Hold on.
That's gonna make you.
I have
drunk on
no
the
idea
floor.
if you're not connected anymore or what the heck is going on. But I just looked in there. Well, he didn't he donated like 8 minutes ago. But I just looked at it now.
Are you sure it's €7?
€7, yeah.
Because doesn't that convert over to like $15?
I'm not sure. I was gonna look that up.
I'm not sure how that converts over. That's like 3 shots.
I'm not gonna. Well, €7. Oh, no, I didn't like it that much. Hold on.
No.
$7.61.
Oh, so the euro has dropped. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The euro has dropped.
Okay.
But,
That shows you how up to date I am with currency exchange.
He says nice shirt or lack of one.
It's actually a dress.
Oh, it's a dress. Okay, it's a dress. So that shows you
dress.
King Euro.
It's actually the dress you used in the book that you're working on.
Is it? Okay, I hadn't placed that. Let me put this art from Brian up. But then I have a question too. The site, someone from INDIEVOLT Radio just looked at the site that we're not going to mention.
Who? What?
Someone from INDIEVOLT Radio looked at the site that we're not going to mention. Brian, you can choose a flavor now, I guess.
What the site? Are you talking the site that Rob was talking about earlier?
Yeah. And they said, "Wow."
Okay.
Just read.
We've got watermelon and sour apple and what?
Cherry and tropical punch.
Cherry tropical punch, watermelon, sour apple.
I think a tropical punch.
Tropical punch. Okay.
That's her third favorite flavor.
I'm gonna see why they're not coming across. It should be coming across up there for some reason.
It should be. No.
We'll figure out that. But yeah, Randy.
Sir.
And they said they read the stuff up there, and the person said, "Wow." We're not gonna mention that site.
That's his response.
Because, yeah.
No other comment other than "Wow."
They put the name of the site up there.
We don't want to name the site. Where?
Because
they put it someplace.
And they didn't write it's INDIEVOLT Radio.
Oh,
look at that face! Look at that face!
Was that it? Oh, that was a shake.
You didn't like the tropical punch, huh?
It's not like that face. Good for.
All right. Is that what that noise is? Is whenever you get a tip?
No. That's somebody's phone.
That's my phone, actually.
Yeah. For some reason,
somebody's texting you really hard.
The tip should come across the top of the screen there, but they will not.
The tips.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it.
Tips.
Just the tip.
Yeah, but it's broken for some reason. It's not coming across. I'll have to go in there later.
I see Fanta Bic $1.
Yeah, that was from
across the screen.
Yeah, that was from the last time. For some reason, it's not updating.
Just seems to keep floating across.
Here's art from Brian's next project. Brian, you don't mind if I show this?
Oh, look
if
at
you
that.
do, if you do, oops. Tell us about this, Brian.
That's from a book called Galatea, Mistress of the Dawn. And it's basically kind of a it's loosely based on the Galatean Pygmalion myth or story or whatever, and she kind of like after her lover Pygmalion gets destroyed by this ogre or whatever, kind of ends up turning warrior princess and turns into a Xena-esque type character, and just vows to kind of destroy the monsters in the land or whatever. So it should be pretty fun book.
And who's the artist on that?
That is a guy named BZ Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Kong?
Yeah, Kong, Khong.
Okay.
Cool.
And he's one of my Facebook friends, and I found him on Facebook, and that's where I find most of my artists these days. So, yeah.
Is the book gonna be black and white or color? Or
I'm gonna leave it black and white. I
was
like
gonna say the
how it was
gray tones on that looks
really
pretty
nice.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, he gray toned it really nice. So I was like, well, you know what? Let's try it.
Larry at Rebel Comics has a tip. Says I got a tip. Says don't eat yellow snow.
He's just jealous because Lola's getting those sweet
It's
tips.
up there in Canada.
Yeah, she's made what, 5, 7? Yeah, so she made 5 and
we
made
see
$7.
all sorts of different colors of snow this time
Doing
of year.
okay. Doing okay for herself. She's almost made $100 since she started taking tips. A lot of alcohol.
That all goes back into the alcohol budget.
Well, she's putting toward her book.
Oh, good.
She's putting toward her book, so she's getting drunk
Awesome.
to pay artists.
Getting drunk
So,
to pay
so
her
she made
friend.
$5 and $7. If somebody contributes $3 more, that means you got to take another shot.
I think it should, but yeah, no.
I'm
No, she
just
says
joking.
that's not how that works. That's not how any of this works.
Somebody put in, what was it, $20 once? Was it $20 the first?
Larry says
10?
him and Lola are buddies.
Yeah. She needs to teach hot Korean girlfriend to make tips. Yeah, I'm afraid of what those two would do together. I'm afraid. I mean, I'm not afraid. I would like to. Never mind.
And again, they'll be talking about that on the show Geekgasm. It's on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. iNDIEVOLT Radio and your local YouTube channel.
There is another question here from iNDIEVOLT Radio. It is about naming your company, and we talked about this before. Putting this guy wants a good name for his company. He wants us to name his company.
Good name.
He
I
wants
got a
his name
thesaurus. I'm not afraid to use it.
good name for a comic company.
Let's see. What kind of comics is he doing?
He didn't
Did he
say.
say?
He
Didn't
didn't say.
say.
Spotlight Comics.
Done. Used.
Oh, shit.
They used to do a lot of Terry Toon stuff. Did Mighty Heroes. I got a Mighty Heroes done by Spotlight Comics. Mighty Heroes. Remember Mighty Heroes? Do you know who they are?
No.
Before your time. Led by Diaper Man.
Hot Korean Girlfriend Comics.
Hot Korean girlfriend. You're thinking about Larry again.
Yeah, Hot Korean Girlfriend Press. Press your hot Korean girlfriend. There we go. Yeah.
I can look it up in my Funkin' Wagnalls.
You know what?
I got a Funkin' Wagnalls.
That's a horrible ass name. Like the head of the IOC, Dick Pound. Dick Pound and Dick Wolf together at last.
Did call it Dirk Man.
Oddly enough.
What? Right or wrong comics.
How about
Soft-hearted comics. No.
How about
I was like Neon something.
Can't take Massive Comics. I printed under that banner.
Pixel Comics?
Pixel Comics.
He's gonna jump in like no.
No.
You can do that. I don't want that name.
What about Betrayer Comics? That would work.
Betrayer
Comics. Yeah, I've got incomics.com. I probably won't ever use it, but I've got it.
HKGF Comics Inc. Yeah, Funky Comics, and
in the chat, give us some good comic company names that aren't currently
Just
being
seen that one
used.
Rob put up.
Don't
Yeah,
be
I
a
see
Dirk
it a lot.
Comics. No. No. Ralph Griffith says Funky Comics.
Mm-hmm.
That could work. Funky Comics. HKGF Comics. I'm not sure what that stands for,
Hot
Larry.
Korean Girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, okay. Hot Korean Girlfriend. Don't be Dirk Comics. Best Comics.
That's not taken.
I don't think so.
Really? Best
gotta
comics
be.
took a long time ago. Yeah,
Oh, it's got to be taken. Somebody's had to have used it at one point.
Yeah.
Use an internet expression if they haven't. I'll take it.
Can I
them
be
all.
Trump Comics?
Could
Trump
always
comics.
do a Google search and see.
Trump Comics.
2 things you should do. Number 1, try to find the domain name and see if it's already being used. The second thing is you can check the trademark office too, and that's free search, and just find those words and mix them together just to be sure.
I just did a Google image search. There are no best comics. There is no best comics company.
That's an hour morning. It'll be. Teslon says, Dirty Sanchez Comics.
That always
the
comes in
X.
handy
With
depending
the
on
X.
the quality of comics that you're doing.
Yeah. Dirty Sanchez Comics.
Bestcomics.com goes to buy domains.
Could we get
Bestcomic.com is for sale.
If we're going there, Teslon, we got to go with Donkey Punch Comics too, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Alaskan Snow Dragon Comics.
Alaskan Snow Dragon Comics. Where'd you get that?
Yeah, remember I told you about the Snow Dragon?
Oh yeah. Well, and again, that's another topic to be covered tomorrow night. Geekgasm. There's great comics. Best Comics has not been taken. The domain name is owned by a site waiting to
get the money for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're gonna charge you at least $2,000 or more.
A scalp site, yeah. But you can always do bestcomics.net, bestcomics.tv or US or whatever.
Rob says name for Dirk's book about his deeds in Night with Dirk and a Lifetime of Nightmare Worlds. Wow, Rob has it in for him, don't he?
Seems that way.
Dirty Deeds Comics.
Dirty Deeds.
Yeah.
Done Dirk cheap.
DDC.
Yeah.
Who dares?
Dirty Deeds Comics. There you are on IndieVolt Radio. There's the name of your comic company. Let us know how it goes. Make sure you thank us. IndieVolt Radio. Or IndieVolt.
Yeah.
IndieVolt channel.
Yeah. Make sure you get Dirty Deeds Comics.
For the Dirty Deeds Comics. DDC.
And from who said they're done dirt cheap? Who's that?
That was me.
Yeah, it was Pixel. Yeah. Pixel, done dirt cheap.
I was recommended when way back when we were talking comic companies with Gary Reed. Gary Reed explained to me that the reason his comic company was called Caliber was because it started with a C. And he figured, as his experience as a retailer, by the time a retailer got in the green section in Diamond's Previews magazine, when they got around the C's, they decided they had run out of money for independent comics.
And they were done.
So if you have a comic company and you want to be listed in previews, make sure it's an A, B, or C.
That's why there was all like the Aardvark and
Aardvark, Anaheim, with double A's, double A comics, A plus
double A,
comics,
triple A,
yeah, triple A comics, Airhead Comics,
Acme.
Rob says Airhead Comics starts with an A.
That's why there was Aircell. Remember, all those comic companies all started with a early letter for that reason,
nice.
Especially if you want to be listed in Diamond.
Rival says D4C Comics, and then Rebel says I want a Durka girl in every state.
Dark Elf Designs. I'm a letter too late.
Oof, no, you don't. No, you don't.
He almost did.
I'm sure that was a goal, but
yeah,
you don't want to do that. No dirking off here.
I do believe that it's.
The popcorn you're eating has been pissed in. Film at 11.
No!
Take him to be tortured.
It's horrible. Yeah, I believe that that is that is it's a horrible situation you guys are just brought into my show. My innocent.
How dare you?
You guys are just horrible people. I will say this, as far as Dark Elf Designs as a company, I like the logo. I don't think you have enough merchandise. I don't think you have enough shirts and stuff and stickers.
Yeah.
Why don't you have that merchandise yet?
Well, I've had that merchandise. It's just I've kind of run out of that merchandise, and like for about 6 years or so, I've kind of been on hiatus. so I run out of a lot of stuff. I ran out of a lot of merchandise. Ran out of a lot of comics, and I'm kind of just like rebuilding up the brand, so to speak.
I don't think, and you know.
Lola says you never do.
Yeah.
We heard it. You never do think. I don't think.
people tend to not realize how hard and how financially straining this business could be, especially if you're not going toward crowdfunding. And Last Call Comics, IndieVolt, you know, I fund myself. I know Rob Anderson. He funds his site, his site himself. His mini sites, he funds them himself.
All of them. He funds them himself.
Yeah, yeah.
The man owns almost all the internet.
Yeah. Tezlon said that I had some Tezlon comics posted to DED back in the day.
Dead?
Yeah,
Dark Elf Designs. Okay.
Yeah. Did.
This
year at Comic Con's The Catch a Predator themes. Man.
We're not going to get away from that for a while.
Yeah. I did get a joke here in IndieVolt Radio. I'm not answering. I'm not reading it.
The real question is, have you paid your dues?
Have you paid your dues, Jack? Yes, sir. The check is in the mail.
I got a question here on IndieVolt Radio. I'm not going to read it, though, because it's a joke. And
is it bad? Is it beyond the MA DLSV?
No, it's just...
Everybody's going to be... Yep. Your listeners are going to be mad.
How do you know name redacted is a Democrat?
Dang.
Okay.
He's trying to get blue in every state.
God.
You got that from IndieVolt Radio?
Yes.
Which country do you think it came from?
Wrong.
Oh, we know what country it came from. I believe one of... Yeah.
Boy.
I'm glad you...
IndieVolt Radio listeners, we appreciate each and every one of you. What's our current number?
Right now, we have 2,704 people.
Oh, almost going for that 3.
Yeah, almost got 3.
We could do it.
Oh, man.
Love you all, each and every one of you.
I need to bring some of those guys over to FanSpeak and get that channel monetized soon, man. We've been hovering at 850 subs for like 6 months. It's driving me nuts.
I wish they would come to IndieVolt YouTube and subscribe, but they will not. They just keep hanging out at like the radio. But
that's because they don't want to see us. They just want to listen to us. We have faces made for radio. I keep trying to tell you that.
Yeah, I wish I could. And that's the other thing too. And Pixel, I know that you talked about this ads.
The only one they'd want to come here and see anyway is Lola.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I really wish that we could figure out how to get more fans on the radio, more fans on. Not fans, but more ads on the radio, more ads on the on IndieVolt TV. Because
remember, if IndieVolt gets 100 or 1,000 subscribers, it could be asked to be monetized through YouTube.
Yeah.
And you might see all sorts of little short videos.
What's this? Tezlon says, Ralph Arrow was my first indie comic experience. Dead Roll #1. And then Rebel says, bring me to FanSpeak. The WC loves me now. Is that word campaign? Loves me now? Is that what he's saying?
Do they love you now? That's good.
Do they love you now? Ralph says, you're the man, Tez.
Yep.
Yeah, holy bouncing bikinis, Batman.
Holy bouncing bikinis, Batman.
I would but yeah, there's ads are so hard to get, and we could get we can get ads on the IndieVolt TV channel.
It's not above us to be monetized.
Yeah, it's like it's really hard to get those ads and getting subscribers is it can prove to be difficult as well. I think that we have subscribers, but they could always be more. They could always be.
Could always have more. Yep. Yeah. More subscribers, more viewers, more likes. If you're out there listening YouTube,
but the radio
haven't
does
hit that like button. Please hit that like button.
The radio does really well for us, and it is. Otherwise, I'd have gave up a long time ago.
Really appreciate it, but hit that like button.
Now let's see here. One of the last things that I want to discuss, why I have everybody here, is again, we've been talking about the business of indie comics, and someone mentioned earlier that while these comics are, why do we have to have a business degree to make comics? I think that it is important when you're entering this business to figure out how much you're going to make, and it's important to understand contracts, what your contract says. Um, and I'm finding myself that having to enforce those contracts, you damn near need to be a lawyer. I know everyone you can't afford a lawyer. I get
Or
it,
have
but you know
easy
what?
access to one. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Save up some money, pay him that 500, 600, whatever $1,000 it is a year to keep him on retainer, just so they can look over stuff and tell you, if because it will save you in the long run, if you have to, do anything and make people abide by their contracts. Because some people don't want to. Some people don't want to abide by their contracts. Some people just want to just do what they want to do and get away with murder. And then I'm finding now that it is best, and I've found this out before, and I don't know why, but it's best to always make sure you have to figure out the people you're doing business with. If somebody's new to the industry, but they've got all this hunger and drive, that's great. Randy said it before. He loves somebody with fire in their belly. He loves that. But you got to figure out why they got that fire in their belly. Are they coming for a quick cash grab? Are they coming for a quick, they want to? Have they been kicked out of everything else?
If they're coming for a quick cash grab, they're probably in the wrong business.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I I've dealt with people, and in my old company especially, that were they were there because they heard there was money in comics. They thought it was a Netflix deal or a movie deal right around the corner. And yeah, Teslon says, artist, do you prefer working digitally on a tablet or the old school paper and pencil ink? I'll go first for that one. I prefer traditional as of now. I do have a tablet. I have not worked on it for a good long while. Randy?
I've been working digitally pretty much the last 3 years, and it's convenient, but I miss working physically. So, um, I would, at this point, it all depends upon the job. All of my commercial work has been digital because I don't have to have original art or worry about reselling original art. But if I were to do a comic project that I was especially proud of, I would end up doing it physically just so I could have that original artwork to sell or give away or do whatever with it, something, as a memento to hand out. Other than that, if you're doing it digitally, you're just encouraging people to run off prints and bring them to shows for you to sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Brian?
Yeah, definitely traditional. I do all my colors pretty much on the PC, but traditional is the way I prefer to do pencils and inks for sure. Mostly because I don't have the equipment that I would like to do the digital probably, and I like having that artifact left over. That physical copy.
Steve says, I honestly gotten to the point where I'm okay with breaking even as long as I get my stuff out there and a few people enjoy it. And yeah, that is but there are people who don't want to make that investment. They want to use you as their cash, as their piggy bank, Steve. You know what I think we need? Well, I'll mention that later. But yeah.
Good lawyer, good accountant. That's what you need.
Pixel, you do any drawing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you prefer? Prefer digital or?
It varies. So my name came from actually wanting to go back to doing traditional work. So I'm betraying Pixels by going back to pencil and ink. But it really varies, man. And you made a really good point about the whole, Randy, about the artwork. A lot of these guys that are doing campaigns and stuff, they incentivize people buying it or doing contests and stuff to be able to give away that original art. I'm trying to blank right now all of a sudden. Doug TeNapel, for instance, his top 10 refers for his campaigns, he gives away a free page of art to. And then he has the other ones available for sale. It's a really good way to drive up some of your fundraising too, because after you're done with the page, if you're not going to hold on to it, you might as well monetize it, make a couple $100, or at least depending on who you are. I mean, if the pages look amazing, you might get a couple $100. If they're just standard run-of-the-mill pages, you might get like $25-50 for the page, but it's more money than you had just taking up space in your closet. I find that I suck at inking. I can't get it, man. I've tried so many different tools, and I think a lot of it's just practice. I just really need to sit down and hone my skill and make my pencils as tight as possible before I try to go to ink. But I've gotten to this habit of drawing stuff in pencil and taking it digital, and then doing my inks and stuff in digital. Or I'll just go straight.
If you can pencil, you can ink. You just have to use the tool enough to have enough confidence in it.
That's pretty much it. I think I don't have a steady enough hand right now with ink, and so
gotcha.
my lines get really wavy, and I just don't like it. And so I tend to find my my aptitude to use the tools in digital are a little bit easier for me. They have the line smoothing and certain things, so my work looks a little bit more crisp and clean that way. In fact, I sent I sent you a picture over Twitter a little bit ago of just some concept work I was working on for the girl in the story with the snail. That was all digital. Yeah.
Can I show that?
Yeah, you can show it.
Okay.
And while you're pulling that up, I can tell Squid here, who is asking if there's any chance of the return of the Aniverse, that yes, it's on the proverbial bucket list. Let me get this book done, and then I am already talking about putting together a collection with original material of the that'll all take place in the Aniverse Squid. So it's coming.
We'll make sure that make sure you subscribe.
It might take a year. Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe, Squid. We'll break that when Randy does it.
So subscribe to us, and we'll definitely keep you informed. Thank
The
you.
other thing I have to add about digital versus traditional is, for me, is like for doing digital pencils and digital inks, there's a learning curve there that I just don't have the time to invest in right now.
Oh, you'd be amazed how fast you would. You would
Once I did it, I think I would pick it up. Like fairly decent. Just
the only thing that's really stopping you on that, it's kind of the same. I feel kind of the same way about Pixel and learning how to ink, is that just gaining the confidence to grab the tool and just make the line.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the same thing with digital. You'd be amazed how easy it is to. I thought I'd hate it.
I do like coloring that way, and if I had like a Cintiq or something where I could draw right on the screen, I think I might like it better. But
yeah, that's what I've got.
That helps.
I've got a big Cintiq, but I had a really, really good commercial year a couple years back. My accountant told me to either invest in myself or I'd be paying more taxes to Uncle Sam. So I went and upped my system, got the best system I possibly could with an IT guy who really knew his stuff. Got a Cintiq. And just, went to town. I saw a Todd McFarlane video, and I said, that's the board that I want.
Right.
And I went out, figured out where it was. I did a little research and found out that you can actually go too big with it. That the Cintiq I have is about the same size as a page of original art, and I can blow that baby up and shrink it down and do whatever I need with it. It runs off of Photoshop real good. So and it's real easy to get accustomed to.
This image here now, this is the character
That's
you're talking
awesome.
about.
Yeah. So when I'm sitting here staring at it, I'm looking at her eyes right now, going, "Man, I need to fix that eye." But the cool thing about
is that your work, Pixel?
That's my work. Yeah,
That's
And
great.
The first thing I'm looking at, like that eye, the nice thing about digital is I can go and just lasso that thing out, move it down just a hair, and it's centered up better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good things about digital. The learning curve for me was my work was really, really loose when I went digital, because your nib just flows across the glass really easy.
Yeah.
And so you have to focus on kind of tightening up your movements a little bit. And a lot of that's tools also. Once you get your tools dialed in, they start to feel like a pencil, or the line will flow like ink.
Yeah.
And it all depends on your tools and your settings. Once that's all dialed in and it feels really good, you can nail it.
Believe it or sorry.
You're good.
I was just saying that, believe it or not, I actually, to do colors, I'm actually just using a mouse.
Which isn't a bad thing either, especially if you're doing the whole slice and gray kind of.
Which is great for flats, but for doing some of the detail, it's a little bit of a learning curve.
And Brian, Wacom tablets aren't really that expensive anymore.
I know I have one.
So it'd be
Shame to say.
Easy to pick up, easy to use. So
I have one. I haven't used it hardly at all.
Yeah.
Pixel Dreaded Dinosaur, when I got a Surface Pro, he recommended some screen protector, that a particular brand that made my screen feel like paper.
Yeah.
To my
I've seen those.
Yep.
Yeah. And it did help a lot, like in terms of drawing on that screen. It was like, hey, this is really nice. I feel like the only problem is now when I turn my pen over to erase, Sometimes out of force of habit, I blow the screen, thinking I'm throwing away eraser dust. It is really bad.
Oh, yeah, I still catch myself doing that.
Yeah, see, it's not just me. See, told you, Lola. Lining up guests to play Kickstarter Paul. So who wants to play? He says this is Rob says guest sits down to watch all the crowdfunding videos we're advocating for and hits pause on the video when the interest is lost in the video. This is a fun way to teach creators about attention spans and what works and what does not work on their videos. That sounds kind of cool. I might get some hate though.
Yeah,
have you?
Yeah, I watched it. I was laughing my butt off about some of it. I have a campaign video that I did for my Indiegogo that I'd love him to check out at some point. The campaign failed, unfortunately, but I'd be curious what he thought of it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And I know a lot of artists use the Surface Pro and iPads for drawing and coloring. Yeah. There's so many of them out there. Speaking of iPads, digital artwork, and everything, Randy has a story from this Comic-Con that just passed that I want him to share with everybody.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I was able, don't you play coy. I was able to enjoy this. See, what people don't know is that Randy's been around for a while. Randy has a fan base, and I'm sitting at the table with Randy while he's people are coming up, they're bringing comics that Randy's done.
Yeah, I already inferred to that here just a few minutes back.
But you gotta tell the whole story, Randy. So we're sitting there. Now, last year, I was shocked people were actually coming up there, and they're bringing stuff back that Randy's looking at that he said he hasn't seen in years. With all my old programs.
Yep.
It's all kind of stuff.
If you do a lot of stuff, which I do, I do a lot of commercial work too, you get all sorts of weird things brought up to you.
Well, this was great.
I just got a magazine today where I did a 2-page ad spread. In that I just finally got to see it in print. Turned out really good. It's in My City Home magazine. It's available around in the area for a local realtor. But I get all sorts of weird things brought up to me. But what Varian is talking about is I was monkeying around, that's what I called it, and putting different versions of a cartoon monkey I have named Spank, dressed up as different superheroes, up on Facebook. And one of them I posted up there was Deadpool. So I'm sitting there at the table at the show, and a kid comes up with a print of that picture of Spank as Deadpool and hands it to me and asks me to sign it. And I'm like, where did you get this? And I'm like, oh, I just printed it off on my printer. And I looked at him and I said, man, I am putting those up in way too high a res. So that'll change from now on, so that if anybody ever tries to copy that again and run it off, it'll be nice and pixelated and actually look like crap. But the print that he had was really good. So I'm like looking at it, and he goes, will you sign this for me? He tracked me down at the show and asked me to sign it. I didn't, he must be on my Facebook page or whatever. I'd never seen him before that I remember. So I told him I'd sign it, but I'm going to sign it, and I'm going to write on there, don't ever do this again. Or don't do this again. So I said, if I was somebody that was selling prints, if I was selling prints of that here, and you brought one up to me and didn't buy it from me, I would be mad. So I signed it. I said, don't do it again. And then his brother comes up with another print. Same thing.
So it wasn't him.
And I'm like, look, dude, is this all that they told me that's all that existed? I said, man, if I was, like I said, I've seen Neil Adams go off on people for less.
They got their own table there selling prints of Deadpool.
Spank there it comes. Spank. I got Spanks and all sorts. Well, see, I've slowed down on doing that, but next time I do it, it's going to be incredibly low res. In fact, I'll probably need to take those off and repost
or another
them
thing,
in
do a
incredibly
watermark.
low res. Huh?
Or another thing, do a watermark.
Yeah. I'll need to do that too. But now on his one, I said, don't ever do this again. So, yeah, and signed it. But no, what I'll probably just start doing is bringing prints.
I'm actually printing off one for you now, Randy.
These different characters.
Yeah,
cool.
Was there a bit of flattery? Were you at least flattered they would?
Yeah, it was nice that he liked the picture enough to run it off, but that's $5 or $10 that I didn't get.
Well, you also didn't have it available.
That's not helping me pay for dinner.
Now you know it's available. Now you know there's a demand for it.
Well, yeah, I was going to offer that as one of the. Well, no, I shouldn't say that either.
You like Next time somebody brings you up one to sign, you just like, yeah, $5. Yeah, $10. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I'll have to. That's why Neil. I guess that's why these guys, Neil Adams,
Charge $20
for
for
their
signature. Yeah.
charge for their signature. Where'd you get that? I don't care. You want me to sign it? $8. Here you go.
Well, I saw Larry Hama last year at Capital City Comic Con.
I'm sorry.
And I had him sign a couple of G.I. Joe comics, and his thing is basically, if you bring him a comics, he'll sign them for free if he personalizes them. If he doesn't personalize them, then he wants to charge. And I thought that was more than fair, and I got a couple personalized comics out of it. So,
well, I had bought a long time ago, back when Babylon 5 was out, I bought a pirated script for the pilot for Babylon 5, and Straczynski, I tracked Straczynski down at a con and asked him to sign it. And he looked. He had that same expression on his face. I'm sure I had when I was looking at that kid. But I had an entire script. I said, no, you don't understand. I'm keeping this. I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna learn from it, and all of this. I bought this to keep. Because you bought it to keep. Okay, I'm gonna personalize it to you. And he wrote this great big long paragraph on the front of the cover page. This is Randy's script. Randy owns this script. Randy will not be reselling this script. If he does, I will personally track him down and kill him, blah, blah, blah. And went into big detail as to exactly what he'd do to me. And then he signed it. So, yeah, I treasure that to this day. So,
Pixel, with this art...
If I have anybody sign anything anymore, I always have them personalize it anyway.
With this art that you're doing, and the rest of the art that you've done, can we expect a pixel book, pixel art book coming soon, perhaps? I'm asking that because that's in the INDIEVOLT Ask Me Anything radio chat. So.
Oh, gotcha. Cool.
I want to see that snail comic.
Yeah, I do too. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. We found out about 2 months back that I've got a kid on the way too. So that's happening.
Congratulations!
Oh boy, yeah, congratulations on that.
In July.
Is that your first?
It's actually my second. So the funny part though is my first is going to be 18 on.
There you go.
May 4th, right? So May 4th, that one's out of the house, but I just hit the reset button here.
You were out.
I was out.
9 years apart. That way you have a built-in babysitter, buddy.
Man, I know. Too late now, but I got 2 months of freedom, and then I'm right back in the game.
You don't sound. You don't sound old to have an 18-year-old.
I turned 40 in January, so
okay.
I'm old enough to have it. But yeah, man.
Yep.
As far as the book goes, I don't know how much time I'm gonna have. I just started doing pages. Actually, I don't think I posted it online, but I started doing thumbnails for at least probably about an 8 to 10 page demo story that just starts with the kind of like the action scene where the snail and the hamster go into the planet and start kicking ass. So I'm going to do that just as a test, really.
Okay.
And then we'll see how that goes. And then I've also got like an 8 or 9 page story that I wrote for an anthology project that didn't work out. So I've got preliminary art for that I want to pull together. So what may actually happen, depending on my time here, is I might pull together just a small anthology of pieces that I want to do, and then from that point forward, I'll start looking at doing the full book. But it's just hard. I don't have a lot of confidence.
Who is it? War Campaign that's putting CG only together, kind of like a magazine anthology, like an Epic Illustrated.
CG Jumpstart, yeah,
CG Jumpstart.
They don't like me too much.
I'm sorry to hear that. Well, we could always do our own.
Yeah, we can always do our own.
Here's the funny thing. So before they announced that, I actually announced a book called Insider. And Insider, I had talked to Andrew Huerta about it. I'm like, hey, Andrew, I'm thinking about doing a Wizard revival thing. And he wanted to do a video type, like channel type thing instead. He's like, man, I think the print thing is done. I don't think we're going to do that. And then I'm like, I think we can do it. I think I can do it. So I bought a bunch of stuff online, just different magazines and stuff to look at them and everything. And I was trying to do that. And then Insider wound up becoming just another WordPress site. And then it got a bunch of drama too. And I had walked away from that and let some other people run it. And then it imploded and I killed it. So that didn't work out. But
should have let Rob Anderson take it over.
Oh man, right? So the funny thing is, though, I got accused of trying to copy War Campaign. I'm like, guys, I don't care that you guys have CG only. In fact, or CG only or your CG Jumpstart site. I think that's fantastic. More promo for people, more stuff like this going on is just a good thing. But I had to go back and I showed screenshots from my Instagram and stuff. I'm like, man, I was doing this stuff back in November of 2018. Don't come at me with that.
Well, Varian and I were talking about putting an anthology together and getting a bunch of folks together.
That'd be cool.
Just to do it because it would be fun, yeah, and show off all sorts of different styles and different ideas, different IPs that people would own.
To me, the best. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I just looked down at the bottom of the screen. You're over 3,000 people listening live.
Yeah, listening live on IndieVolt Radio. I appreciate that. All
appreciate
3,000 of you.
Yep.
3,017 of you are awesome listening in on IndieVolt Live. Now, you need to go over to YouTube and subscribe.
Right.
That will be awesome.
I was just going to say that I think the biggest thing that attracted me to IndieVolt was not only because I seen you guys on there, but because of the idea that you guys actually talk about indie comics. And I see so many indie podcasts or webcasts or whatever that are also just talking about Marvel and DC all the time as far as what they're coming out with. And it's like, there's 1,000 other sites that have that already. Why do we need that?
Yeah, we try to keep it very.
I like seeing the snail comic. I'm excited about the snail comic now.
Yeah. Someone else said that. Was it Tesla? He said that snail game 2 sounds badass.
Yeah. It'd be a cool app for a phone, really.
Yeah.
I want to say hello to my daughter Rachel's listening, and Emily Zelasco just came on. So
hello
Emily.
ladies.
Hello.
Hey, Emily.
Feel free
Rachel.
to join in on the chat.
Advocating has just another site. Yeah,
I got an awesome drawing from Emily Zelasco at the Great Lakes Con for my sketchbook.
Rob, stop creating sites.
Rob. Stop it. Just stop.
Stop creating sites. We'll key you in on that too, Pixel. We're getting ready to end the show, but before I do that, I want to remind people. I want to remind you that if you want me to answer your questions, because I'm the best question answer ever, you can do so at IndieVolt Live at IndieVolt.com. You can send me questions there, and please include IndieVolt Live in the subject field. Please keep those emails to 90 words or less.
If it has to do about comics or anything about comics, feel free to write in your question. We would love to answer it, especially advice to the lovelorn.
Or Lola's boobs. We'll answer about Lola's boobs too. No, we'll talk about the boobs here too. We discovered those boobs here.
We have multiple platforms for discussion on Lola's boobs.
Also,
IndieVolt boob talk coming soon.
IndieVolt Radio. You can take IndieVolt Radio with you wherever you go. It's the perfect companion to our official site, IndieVolt.com. IndieVolt Radio plays the best in indie music, entertainment, news, and more, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Hear music from talent like Park Squares and Alleys, Dims One. Download the IndieVolt Radio app on Android's Google Play Store, or listen in with the streaming app on iOS. You can also check out IndieVolt Radio by visiting our official IndieVolt.com website and utilizing the built-in player right there on the front page, which I know a lot of you are doing because that's how we got so many viewers. Also, then, you can check us out on IndieVolt TV. IndieVolt TV is over-the-top streaming service available on Roku and coming very soon to Amazon Fire Stick. Stream independent movies, music videos, wrestling, original documentaries, and more on IndieVolt TV. And did I mention that it's free? That's right, 100% free.
Free.
Can't make any money. Christ.
Free.
Buy IndieVolt TV by searching the channel store on your Roku device or Roku-enabled television.
And Brian, before we go any further, I know how much you like talking about indie comics.
Yeah.
So please, tell us who your favorite Marvel character is.
Who's your favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman. Remember the motto? With great power comes great responsibility.
Oh God, that hurt.
Yeah,
that's an actual news report, by the way.
That's funny.
A woman.
Did you see the ad in that? Oh, that was actually Varian put that up, wasn't it? About the Enchantress.
Yeah. And I love the talk in the same magazine where they're talking to Gail Simone, and they show a picture of Gail surrounded by Deadpools.
Yeah.
Just know your stuff.
Yeah.
Brian, where can our listeners find you?
Probably the best place to find me, or well, actually my stuff, is Facebook.com/Dark Elf Designs. You probably don't want to go to my Facebook page because you'll just see a bunch of political rhetoric that pisses people off. And but yeah, Facebook.com/Dark Elf Designs is the best place to find my stuff.
Gate, Roach Mill. What?
How about
Man,
you?
I remember Roach Mill. Roach Mill was an awesome comic.
Pixel, where can they find you at, sir?
Twitter.com/PixelTrader. That's a TRAITOR. And you can also find me over at IndieCron.com and Fanspeak.live.
Cool. And Ralph Griffith says, in regards to the reporter, I hope she F's better than she knows comics.
I'm sure she was just reading a telephone.
Randy, where can they find you at, sir?
How dare you?
Anyway, I am on Facebook. I'm on Twitter under Randy Zim. You can find me at the Zim Geek channel on YouTube, though I haven't put much up there lately. I keep meaning to. As soon as the commercial work eases up, and we'll get more content up there. Other than that, my next convention will be the Downtown Flint Comics Con on April 18th that I'm throwing myself. So it's a great little one-day show in a farmer's market. Other than that, at the end of June 27th, up in Saginaw at the SWRC Marketplace.
I'll be at those shows.
We'll be up there. They are a lot of fun. Great little one-day shows inside a farmer's market, so you can come up and look at comics and go out and eat to your heart's desire and come back up and buy a whole ton of stuff on your way out the door. So, other than that, I think that's it for me right now. I'm just, I'm pinging. Anyway.
Where can they find you at?
What?
No, he asked where everyone can find me at. I'm on IndieVolt. And then on Wednesdays, you can find me on Geekgasm at 9 p.m. And I will be at you. I'll be there. I'll be at your con also.
Oh, yeah.
So they can come see me there.
They can find me there. I'll be there. I'm at all the shows. But you can
that's
always...
Geekgasm Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. And then we will be back. Varian and I will be back on the Breakfast Buzz Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, sorry I missed you guys at the last Breakfast Buzz. I fell asleep.
Yeah, we're in there. And, of course, you can find me at kid_V on the Twitter. Find me Varian Grants, my Facebook. Last Call Comics, WhenWeRiot.com, LastCallComics.com. Apparently, you can find me here every Tuesday night at 9 and every Thursday morning at 9. So far. We'll see how contract renegotiations go. It's almost time for my contract. I need to be paid. That's what he said. That is it for us here on IndieVolt. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Oh, someone asked a question. Let me go look and see what it is. Says Pixel, where can we find your stuff? Well, he said we can find him on IndieCron.
Yeah, IndieCron.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter/PixelTrader, Facebook/PixelTrader, YouTube/Pixel. I'm pretty much everywhere. Instagram PixelTrader, but I'm mostly on Twitter. It's where you'll find me posting regularly.
Cool. So yeah, make sure that you do follow Pixel Trader and check out his site IndieCron. It is a really cool place to go to keep up with the numbers and just find out which indie comics you should be backing through crowdfunding. And then we also had Larry in the chat who has a book on Niobe. I think it just closed funding, I believe, but gorgeous looking book.
Rob at Anderson had Barbara Unleashed also.
Yep, Barbara Unleashed, as well as a host of other sites. He has Indie Advocates, and he has I only said him in the name. Written Sins. He has tons of sites. You can find Mr. Rob Anderson hanging out online somewhere. I'm just chewing time up, guys. I'm chewing time. Anyway,
are you chewing time?
Hang out in the back, guys. I want to talk to you both after we go off the air here, just for a quick word. But yeah, that's it for us. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We hope you've enjoyed us.
Thanks
We
so
hope
much
you-
for listening.
Yeah.
Especially
Thanks for
all
having me
you
on,
out
guys.
there in that IndieVolt radio land.
What'd you say, Lola?
They need to come see me tomorrow night.
Yeah, come check out Lola's show tomorrow 9 p.m.
Questions, have fun.
Don't know what she's gonna do, but we'll see.
You never know.
Yeah, yeah.
The conversation has gone in some pretty strange directions, so you're gonna wanna tune in for those.
Just horrible directions.
Well
Horrible.
worth your time. Horrible directions. Horrible.
Things that I when people get mad, and they don't realize that you know, I mean, she's trying to get us to strike.
Things that make most sex discussion groups turn red.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. This has been IndieVolt. We are not owned by Disney, not yet, but we are available. We will talk to you soon. Until then, keep reading comics. Stay employed.
Thanks a lot for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.